Informed consent is consent. Hello friends, welcome or welcome back. Today, eyebrows and coffee felt like the move, so that's what this is. I broke the SD card that I need to use my microphone. You might hear dogs and stuff happening. So I'm not going to talk about the reason why I'm making this video. There's many videos on YouTube that you can watch regarding Vlog Squad. I'm uncomfortable with the subject matter, so I'm gonna put some cat ears on to lighten the mood. It's not serious, it's not heavy. I'm just going to talk about what consent looks like. I'm fine. Everything's fine. I think it's important to do like a refresher crash course in not assaulting people. Shall we begin? Something that I've seen online recently that it resonates with me personally, and I'll pass it along to you, is if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. In a situation which requires consent, I'm just noticing how much makeup I should have put on today. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. If you're not saying yes for you, you don't have to say yes. And whatever the consequences of that may be are out of your hands, because how somebody reacts to you drawing a boundary is not your responsibility. But what is your responsibility is to take care of yourself. If this is something you're going to look back on and feel gross about later, you're allowed to say no. Hurt someone's feelings. It's okay. You're allowed to say no. That's rule number one. If someone says no, that means no. I can't believe we're circling back to what I learned in the 90s. If somebody says no to you, stop. Stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop what you're doing, and roll out. If they say no, you stop. Period. Now on to my next consent guideline. It can be withdrawn at any time. I'll use someone with complex trauma disorder, for example, because that's what this channel's about. If someone says yes and they're into it, and then something triggers them and they have to pull back and they start saying no, no matter how far along the event has gone, no matter how close to completion the event is, the second consent is withdrawn, that's the end of the event. And it can be withdrawn for any reason. It can be, I think I'm going to fart, and that would be so embarrassing. That's allowed. You're allowed to be like, stop, in the middle of it if you think you're gonna fart and it would be embarrassing. Literally any reason, it does not matter. Because you know what? This is gonna sound really bizarre to people who don't know, but to people who do know, shame is a huge trigger for some people. It's me, I'm some people. If someone comes from a background of constant shame regarding like their body or the functions of their body or anything, doesn't matter. If shame is a trigger for you and you become triggered during the event, it's okay to say, hang on, I need to stop. And if you aren't able to start again, that's okay. It really is. And a partner who is healthy for you will understand that and will not make you feel lesser than for saying, hang on, no, I need to stop. And you know what? It's okay for your partner to feel disappointed, and it's okay for them to express that, and it's okay for you to have a conversation about that. But if your partner stops and withdraws consent halfway through, it is not your place to make them feel guilty or ask them, are you sure? Because chances are they've been thinking about a way to express it for moments now. They're probably sure, so you should just take their word for it that they've withdrawn their consent. Attire does not equal consent. If you are having a conversation with somebody who has large breasts and a low-cut top, that is not an invitation for you to touch them or develop any kind of expectation of like service or anything. It's just like at Comic Expo, cosplay does not equal consent. If somebody is scantily clad, it is not an invitation to touch or say inappropriate things. Just try to remember that a person is not a sexual object for you to enjoy. A person is making fashion choices. The only time that attire does equal consent is when it has been, like, explicitly discussed between partners beforehand, that when I walk into the room wearing this, it means I want you to take it off of me. However, that consent can be withdrawn at any time. For example, if it's plus 30 and you want to wear shorts that, because it's freaking so hot outside, you are allowed to say, I'm going to wear my booty shorts, but that's not an invitation today. And the way that you can respond to that as a loving partner is, alright, noted. Am I allowed to make comments about that ass? And then you proceed with your day. Hello, coming to you handheld with one more thing. If someone cannot provide consent, that is not an invitation. So if somebody is blackout drunk and falling all over themselves, perhaps you've heard recent cases of this on YouTube, that's a no. If you see someone who is, like, losing consciousness, that's not an invitation. If you are feeding someone alcohol or any kind of substance to, like, loosen them up and, gain their consent, that is not consent. They have been coerced. If you are inebriated, you cannot provide consent. Informed consent is consent. Yeah, I think that is a pretty relatively okay crash course conversation starter in consent. Let me know in the comments what you want added to this conversation. If I can figure out how to get it from my phone to my computer, I will add things from Instagram. Don't forget to be kind to yourself and others today, and I will see you very soon. Thanks to my patrons over on Patreon. You all are what they call the best.